All right, so welcome back. Our next situation which we have to deal with is how to make this molding here, which is this molding here, curved. Putting molding in like this and trying to bend it down like this, and then you got to miter this corner over here because there is a flat spot where the casing goes. That's no matter how you clamp it, how you glue it up, how many nails you put in it, it's going to want to pop off forever because of all the tension. It's very tense. So you can do a bunch of different things. I'm going to show you the easiest way to do it, and I'll explain a few things that I've seen done. One, you can stick this in a steamer if you want to go through all that, and you can steam this up, get it nice and sloppery and all gooey and whatever, and then you can attach it and try to glue it down while it's all steamy and hot. Steaming, not so much. The other thing I've actually seen happen is somebody took this molding, or a molding like this, all right, cut up into little pieces like this. Here's what you do. You can stick it on there like that, and then put another piece next to that, and another piece like that. And I actually saw this on a job where the homeowner took and put 100 little pieces in this curved arch and thought it looked cool. Look what I did. I made this curved molding. And you can actually do that. You see how that works? 1-inch pieces all the way across. You probably need about 60 little 1-inch pieces, and you're done. You can also slice up a bunch of little pieces of 1/8-inch trim. You can put it in a vacuum bag like I've shown you on the Curved Cabinets Bembo. This is my bag. And bend it. You can do that also, but it'll look stripy. So you can do a bunch of different things. I'm going to show you the easiest way to do it. So I use molding that has the back rabbited out. And what I do is I just take the back of that out with the table saw. And I take some poplar, and I'm going to show you what I do to this poplar. I'm going to kerf this. I'm going to show you how I do that on my chop saw, because my chop saw has a little stop on it. And I just chop them all up, boop, 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 and make a kerf, because this is still too springy. So this whole thing will be like a little lamination gizmo. And we'll be able to put it in place, nail it down. I have to miter the ends first, so that's kind of a tricky thing because it still wants to pop off. And when you get done, it'll look like, excuse me very much, it'll look like this. And this is what it's going to look like right there. You see how that's curved? So I'm going to go, so I have it curved, I have it glued down to the header. I've got this molding glued down to the curved piece. The curved piece is nailed down and glued with 1.25-inch pins, and the top piece is glued down to this poplar piece with 1.5-inch pins. And that's the easiest way I know to make a curved molding without doing all the steaming and all the craziness and gluing up pieces. And this doesn't take very long. This took me overall probably 45 minutes to do. So yeah. So here's the beast. And I gotta release the beast. Release the beast. So the beast has a stop on it, which is right here, which allows you to stop the blade. You can set it to any height you want. You can set it to way up here, way down here, all the way through, however you want it. And all you have to do is move that out of the way, and it goes all the way down again. I put this little cherry fence on there just because it's had a piece of wood screwed to the damn thing. I got a little mark there about the distance. So whatever the width is how far apart I'm going to put these little cuts. And here's all we do. It's just like this. I slide it to the next one, and we do the same thing, and I'm going to continue that all the way down. These little kerf marks right now will make this bend easier because it's going to be this long. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to put my headphones on and go, and then we'll just time lapse this whole thing, put on some music. Here we go. That's really annoying, but look how flimsy it is now. So this one is super wiggly. You see, super easy to do. This one you do the same thing. It doesn't do squat. I'm going to chop this one up, make it all like this guy right here, and then we're going to attach it to the header, and I'll show you that next. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this wiggly stuff, super wiggly. God, look at that! It almost fly away. Gadzooks. So we're going to take that and we're going to add it to here. So I always use wooden jaw clamps to help hold up my stuff when I'm working, because it'll hold it up really good. It'll keep it from flipping over. You don't have to hold it with one hand and try to do something with the other. You can actually use both hands to work on your project. When I flush trim this board here, it has a little nippy on the end. So what I like to do is I just take one of my shims. You know how I like my shims. Just roll it up inside a 150 here, and I'm just gonna sand the edges. And that's about it, just a little bit. It just has a little bit of a blip. And this won't take it out of square or anything. Just to sand down the lumps. A little lumpy right here. All right, there we go. Doesn't take much. This is the back. So everything that we do with this piece of molding here has to go flush to the back. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take this little wibbly guy and we're gonna come in here, we're gonna hold it back about 1/4 of an inch, and I'm gonna flush everything to the back. So I had a little lip back here, so I think I'm gonna use these guys just to clamp things down. I'll hold this in place. See how this all works. So these guys are going here. Down in here where the glue up is, it gets too wide for the spring clamps. So I'm gonna try these little guys here and see what happens. Yeah, that'll hold it. I'm gonna hold this back about 3/8 of an inch. I'm gonna do the same on this side over here. So where this is, I'm just gonna mark it back 3/8, which is this one right here. I'm gonna cut that off with the chop saw. I think I'm just gonna bandsaw it off. Oh, we'll have to do it twice. There you go, bandsaw, better than a chop saw. Okay, now that we have that, we gotta get our nails together. It's empty. We're gonna use 1-inch pins for the poplar and glue that down, 1-inch pins, boom, boom, boom. And then the next thing we're gonna do is we gotta fit this thing, and it's gonna take a minute. So we have everything clamped up. We're about 3/8 from the where the miter goes on both sides. And what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna glue these guys down, pin them in place with some 1-inch pins. And there you go. All right, so we're gonna get rid of this. All right, so now that we've got that, now the hard part's gonna be to put this guy in, because this is what happens. You go to put this on, and it wants to jump off, and it's gonna scratch this edge. Ask me how I know. I've done it a bunch of times, and every single time it's like jump off. One thing you can do, and it's what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna clamp this here. So we're using these springs. Jesus. I'm gonna use that spring clamp to kind of hold this all into place. How do I explain this? So the bullnose part right here, this little bead here, is clamped on there, and this is clamped onto the back, and it just kind of helps hold it in place. I don't know how to explain it any better. It's on the back of the header and the top of this molding, and it's just squeezing it and holding it in place. So what you have to do is you have to line that little piece up with that, boom, just like that. And if you're lucky enough, these guys work. Nope, sugar, booger's not. Got a little situation going on here. All right, now I need really long arms. All right, got one. Good gravy. See, this is live TV. This is how the hell is this gonna work? I don't know. Just figure it out as we go along. I did the other one, so this is kind of how I did it. Okay. Now it's kind of like that. Oh shit, see how that does that? You gotta be very careful. That's why I keep these on there. It sounds weird, but it actually helps. It helps a lot. Put a couple more in here. Ta-da. All right, that's not too bad. It's on there, it's holding everything down. Gonna hold it in place. It's flush. And this is basically how we're gonna clamp it down too. But the first thing I gotta do is I gotta mark these guys here. And to do that, I'm gonna transfer it using a square. Boom, right there. Well, look, I'll use two. There's the angle of that dangle. A double-handed miter cutter thingamajigger bobber. Yeah, sometimes things like this happen. And that should be the angle as we cut it there. Crazyville. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm lining this up. Eyeballing this to the point. And I can see that point right there, and I put this square, because this part is flat over here, and I'm taking this hand, and bring this guy over like this, hold that together, and I'm putting a freaking line there. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Okay, so this line that's now here, and there's another line over here, which I'm going to make a little thicker, or a little darker so I can actually see it. That's going to be our 6-degree mark. So now I have to unclamp this whole thing, chop it on the chop saw, disc one end, chop this again, and I'm just going to disc it to fit. I'm going to make two of these guys out of a solid piece without the rabbet in it, and that way I'll just butt it into place. I know where it is. I'll tape them down, and then I'll just fit them that way. God, it's a lot of work. So I chopped this side over here, and I cut this side over here. We got them all chopped up. It got cold and windy, so I put on a sweatshirt. Brr. So these little pieces here were made at the same time that this piece was. They're just not rabbeted out. Okay, so they're the same thickness. So when I rotate this to the right or the left, I'll know when I'm there, because this piece will be flush on the top and it'll be all blended together, and it'll look like it's supposed to. This molding over here is a 1/16 of an inch higher than that one. That means that this molding here needs to go that way until they're at the same level. And that's one way of knowing that you got it in the right spot. And I got one for each side. Boom, boom. So now I have to do the push it down and clamp it down trick, and then slide it over without making a complete mess. And I'm going to push the middle in. And hopefully those kind of stay on there. Okay, push that down there. Grab this guy here and shove it into place. Yeah, see now that this whole thing, I can tell you, it's got to go that way. Just going to have to be very careful and tap it, because I don't want to ding up this miter. And the miter is going the right way for me to ding on this side, so we'll go with that much. Okay, now I'm feeling over here, and this one is still higher than this one, so it still needs to go that way. A little bit at a time. Okay, that's getting a little better. What's going to happen is when I push this down with this clamp, it's actually going to pull that back a little. So I'm going to go just a little more. No. Oh, sugar. Shot it right off the end. Touchdown. Okay, so. Okay, now they're about the same. I'm not sure how this is going to work, but we're going to give it a shot. That's about halfway there. Put the clamp in place, push it down, and now clamp it down. And that's pretty damn good. And this is still wanting to twist out. If I let go of this thing, see how it's gonna, it just wants to take off. So this clamp actually does help. So that right there looks very good. It's almost exactly right on the money. This side is gonna be way too tall for this piece over here because, oh my goodness, that's pretty damn good. Wow. All right. Well, I think I can go with that. Okay, so now, okay. So here's what I'm going to do. This isn't bad either. I got to look at the front. Hold on. So here's what I'm going to do. This is what I want to clamp these into place. All this experimenting. It's the best part of woodworking, I think. That's the part I like the most, I guess. I'm weird. All right, that's snug. Okay, so I have this one pretty much flush in the back. This is going to butt into there. I'm going to put a bead in here against the back edge. So that'll get up against the face of this poplar here. And I'm going to put glue on this one right now. Here we go. go. Put that in there. Don't forget your clamps. That'll keep it from flipping out. And that seems to be almost as important as everything else does. Get that on there. Okay, here we go. Going to check it with our peaks that we made. Oh man, that is good. That is good to go. We got our pieces on the end that are already pre-mitered, and it's right on there. And this doesn't have any abrupt bump or anything. So where your curve molding goes into your straight molding, if one's higher than the other and you know they're exactly the same thickness, it's because your molding is either too far to the left or too far to the right. So if it's this molding's higher, this molding's got to go that way. If this is lower, that means that this molding, the curved molding's got to go that way. And that's how you know when you got your miters right. It's because this side is flush and smooth, and this side going into the straight section is flush and smooth. Or, you know, within, like, I could just hand sand that, it'd be perfect. So there we go. And I'm going to leave it like this overnight. But first, I'm going to put some pins in there. So this is going to stay clamped up like this until tomorrow morning. Let it set for 24 hours. I'm going to take all the clamps off, and then tomorrow we're going to miter the ends and return them on themselves, and then I'm going to run the crown. And these guys will be done, and then it's just straight crown from here on out. All right. There you go. Hopefully it helps somebody. If I could do it here, you could do it anywhere you're at with the same tools I have. It's just, I don't have anything elaborate, just woodworking tools. So there you go. Hopefully that helped somebody. And if it did, give me a thumbs up and subscribe, like, hit the notification bell, all that stuff. And we'll see you next time right here on Woodworking with Mr. Kevin. See you later. Whee! Okay.
Subscribe now.
So since we can't use, for shizzle's sakes, crap and hellfire, 9/16 Steve. I'll find out what it really is. How many minutes am I going? I'm just yammering. Fit, nail it, put it in place, glue this to that, glue that to the other thing, and this, that, and the other thing, and boom, you got it. It's a pop-off. It's like a good vodka. Pop-off is terrible vodka. Don't drink it. It's bad for you. There you go. Almost on cue. All right, put it to the mark. Cut it. It's unplugged. Damn it. Depth, however you want the depth to be, you can do that. I'll hook it. I'll show you how I hook it. So the next thing we're gonna do after this, I'm gonna curve up. Okay, stop it. It has laser beams, lasers. Doo-doo.